Good morning. So roughly at about 10:45 last night, officers responded to the 3500 block of Harrison Avenue in reference to a call of subjects arguing within an apartment and shots being fired. Officers arrived on scene and immediately evacuated the fourplex apartment building, at least 3 of the apartments. They attempted to make contact with the one apartment where we believe the shots were fired within, and the subjects within the apartment did not answer. So essentially, we did what we had to do, set up the incident command center there, had some additional resources come in, detectives came in as well. We were able to establish contact initially with the female occupant of the apartment. However, shortly after midnight, that communication ceased. With that being said, later on earlier this morning, communication was reestablished and we were able to make contact with both the male and female within the apartment. So ultimately, at about 7 a.m. this morning, a little after 7 a.m., both subjects did exit the apartment building. So right now, of course, we're early on in the investigation. We have a male who is 28 years old and a female 32 years of age who we are in the process of interviewing right now to find out what's taking place. So thankful that this incident was isolated to that apartment, no threat at large to the public. And as always, the men and women of the Rockford Police Department did a phenomenal job with being able to maintain that scene, establish communication, and ultimately talk both individuals out of the apartment, and no further incident to anyone, no injury whatsoever. So once again, fine job by all involved. One point that I want to make is the importance of reaching out to law enforcement when you think you're hearing something, things aren't right. By all means, give us a call. We've stressed the seriousness of domestic violence across the board. It's been nonstop across the city. So just wanting to make sure everyone involved is safe. And that's all I have. So do you guys have any questions?
Yes, I do. Excuse me, I know you're still in the early process of interviewing, but are you able to tell us if the woman was a hostage or considered a victim or a suspect at this point?
Yeah, at this point, we're just an hour into it, and not even an hour into the investigation with everyone getting to the station and being interviewed. So at this point, I'm not able to tell you that.
And even though shots were fired, any information if someone was shot, someone needing treatment?
No, I don't know. We have no shooting victims.
So for the large police presence, was that strictly because there was an armed suspect within a home that was barricaded, or was there any other precaution that you guys were taking to have such a large presence blocked off?
Well, definitely from the safety aspect would be the reason why there was such a large presence. And yes, we knew we were dealing with at least one party, if not multiple, that were armed.
Mm-hmm. Has there, obviously, there probably hasn't been any charges filed yet, has there?
No charges at this time. So we will update everyone with a press release later this morning or early afternoon once we get everything sorted out.
Any other weapons found? Anything taken in as evidence?
We're early on, so.
Is there any concern that there was anybody else involved besides the 2 that were inside the home? I mean, a call came in, not sure if anyone else is involved.
So once the call came in, the officers responded immediately and the apartment complex was secured. So with the evacuation of the other individuals that were within their own apartments, we don't believe there's anybody else that was involved, but there's always that possibility. We'll sort that out during the investigation.
I feel like this is a good opportunity maybe to just touch on domestic violence in the city, how much it has grown. Is there any way that you can continue to tell people, hey, if you're in this situation, if something like this does happen to you, like, please reach out to police?
So I wouldn't necessarily say our domestic violence has grown in an exponential number. However, the awareness is definitely beneficial. And I'd say from the work of the Mayor's Office, Family Peace Center, the work that law enforcement does on a daily basis, just continuing to push that home, and for those survivors that are out there in that situation, to work with them to help them know that they're okay and that they can feel safe and secure in leaving those situations. So we knew once we started pushing the information on domestic violence that we were going to see an uptick in calls for service, which is fine for us. We'd much rather make sure that those survivors are safe and no longer in an abusive relationship.
Is traffic going to be back open anytime here soon?
Actually, I left the scene at about 7:45, and we're just waiting for the barricades to get picked up, and traffic will be back open on Harrison Avenue.
Just for anyone that's waking up and asking questions, what happened? These were people inside the house, nobody broke in. This started off as an argument. Can you just elaborate a little bit of at what point they came and got the first man out before getting the woman out?
So, like I stated, the call came in at 10:45, and it was in reference to an argument within an apartment with shots fired. So we had communication with the female person within the apartment. Last communication was a little bit after midnight. Wasn't able to reestablish communication until roughly, I think it was about 5:30 this morning. And by 7, a little bit after 7 a.m., the occupants of the apartment did exit.